everyone, welcome back to another video on my channel. So today I'm going to be doing my own nails again. I have I've done my right hand but not like finished it. It's like in the process of being done. I've got to add, well, I've got to refine, and I need to add some stamping. So I'm just going in with tips. I've just decided to do my left hand before I completely finish my right hand, because when I completely finish a hand, I always lose the will to live by the end of that, and I don't want to do the other one. So yeah, I've just decided to leave it half finished and then start this one, and then I'll be like forced to do both, because once they're started I will finish them. It's just the starting them that I seem to struggle with. So there you go. But I'm just using these coffin tips that are from Amazon. They are on my storefront. I have talked about them in previous videos, and also I'm pretty sure I showed them in Amazon haul, like when I bought them. And I'm basically just going to be using them like as like the shape that they are. I'm just going to be obviously cutting them down because they're a little bit long. They're a beautiful length actually. I kind of wish that I could get away with having my nails this long, but unfortunately I can't function with long nails. I definitely am jealous of people that can, and to be honest I probably would be able to if I had the patience to like do it and stick with them, but I just can't. I get too annoyed too quick and it's not good. So I am just going to stick to a normal length. But yeah, so I'm not really going to be really shaping them as such. I'm sort of just sticking them on and then cutting them down and sort of just having them as they are. So yeah, it's not really that exciting on the shaping front. But then we're going to be using a Tears Beauty Premix glitter, a flakes from Magpie Beauty, and then we're going to do some stamping on top. I wanted black, but I don't know if any of you noticed, but the last two sets I had before the green ones that I had recently were both black, and I just feel like it gets to the point when it gets a bit silly when you keep having the same colour like over and over. So I've sort of like banned myself from having black nails, but I haven't banned myself from black full stop. So I'm going to be having really nice light glittery nails, as you can see. I haven't top coated or anything, so they're a little bit dull, but I'm going to be having this length and like these like flakes and glitters. But I'm going to do some black stamping instead. So I am incorporating black somehow into the set, but they're not black with something else, they're something else with black. So I'm just cutting them to roughly how long my other hand is. Well, I usually like to cut them a little bit too long at first, then it gives me a bit of room to mess up, if that makes any sense, because it is inevitable, it is going to happen. So I do find it easier to have them a fraction too long, and then I can file them to the right length when it comes to shaping. So I'm just, like I said, I'm not really going to shape them that much. I'm just going to make sure my sidewalls are nice and straight and that the tips are not stuck to my finger at all as well. And then I'm just going to file over where they meet my natural nail to make sure that that's nice and blended and not really thick. I do like to file the tip itself as well. Obviously it's not for like for it to adhere why can't I speak? Adhere any better. It is literally just because I like them to be nice and thin, and I just feel like, to be fair, these tips aren't really, but some tips can be quite bulky. And I find that has a bit of an impact on my application then, because if your nails start out really thick before you've even done anything, whatever you add on top is obviously just going to look thicker and thicker. So I do like to file over them, to be fair. I don't do it all the time, but because I'm using acrylics this time, like acrylic glitter and flakes, and having to cap and do my base and all that sort of stuff, I am going to file over the whole tip just to make sure it is nice and thin. And then I'm just making sure, like, obviously I do tend to blend my tips, like whether they're the ones that say they need blending or not, because I know some say that you don't need to, but I've never really understood why not, because I find the ones without the well a little bit like thicker, because the well is obviously a thinner area of the tip than anywhere else. So I always find it's like I almost need to do less when they have a well than if they don't, and the ones that don't are supposed to be like, you don't have to blend them, which just makes no sense to me, but there you go. There's a lot of things that confuse me, so I wouldn't really pay too much attention to it, to be honest. But yeah, I'm just filing them down, making sure they're nice and thin. Not focusing on the length at the moment. I know I'm not in focus or anything, but I will be when it comes to the good stuff. I know I'm not, but just give it time. So I'm just making sure they're nice and flush to my side walls, and I'm just imagining that if my nails grew out, like that's how they'd grow, sort of thing. And then I'm not focused on the length, I will do that in a second. I'm just making sure the side walls are nice and relatively smooth. So once I've done that, we can now actually be in focus. So I'm just going to get the dust off so I can see properly. I'm just going to place my nails next to each other. It's always hard for me to do my thumb, so I have to like lean on it with my head, like put my chin on the top of the clippers and clip them like that, which is insane, but there you go. I like to just taper my thumb in a little bit more just to give the illusion of it being slimmer, because obviously thumbs are the widest nail. And then I'm just going to go with the others and then just double check the length. I'm just going to look underneath, and I need to almost half most of them. So I'm just going to literally just snip off the ends. I never really get too bothered about them being like the same on both hands. Obviously I bother when it's other people, but when it's just my own, I'm really not that fussed. So I'm just doing it, basically just guessing really. I think the index is still a little too long, but it's all good. Okay, that's about it. I'm sticking with that. It's about right. So I've filed all those. And then we can go into the application. So these are the flakes that I'm using. They are called Mary Bell flakes. I've got some in a little lid here. And then I'm going to be using this pre-mixed glitter, which is called Utopia, I think. And then my liquid, obviously. And I've got Slush Fairy from CJP here with me as well, because I'm going to be using that just underneath. So I've already prepped and everything like before I started the video. So I just needed to stick the tips on. So first of all, I'm just going to go in with Slush Fairy, just a really small amount. I'm just using this like basically as my clear base because it's a core powder. We can do that because it's got strength to it. I'm not really too bothered about like a base layer for the whole nail, like right up to the free edge, because I don't ever do infills, which you've probably noticed by now. Like every time I do my own nails, it is a full-blown new set. So I'm never too bothered really about making sure it's all perfect underneath, because I'm just going to remove completely anyway. It's not like I ever have to file down to that base. So I'm just doing a really thin layer. I'm making sure that right up to the cuticle doesn't have any Slush Fairy. I'm just making sure that I do like place it near the cuticle, and then I'm putting my brush, you'd be able to see if it'd focus. I'm putting my brush behind the bead and pulling down at the same time, because I don't want that area to be really thick, because then when I add my pre-mixed glitter to that area, it'll just be too much. So I'm just dragging that down the nail, making sure it's all nice and like thin everywhere. I'm really not making this very thick at all. Make sure that it's all nice and thin. I'm just putting a bit of pressure on everywhere to make sure. Okay, and then I'm going to do the next nail. So I'm just going to do all that on all of them. So once I've done that, I'm then going to go in with Utopia, which is the pre-mixed glitter, and I'm using small amounts at a time. Probably going to do about 3 3 beads on these nails, and then I'm just pulling that down. I'm not bothered about it being like perfectly full coverage, but I do want to have like a fair bit of glitter on there. And then before that has chance to set, I'm just going to pick up some of the flakes and place that over the top. And I'm going to do that every time that I apply some of the glitter, so it's like underneath and at the top and at the bottom, like it's all over the place, because if I keep putting it just on the top, it'll just literally just sit on top obviously, whereas now I'm going to cover a little bit of that with this bead, and then I'm going to put some over this one, and then cover that with the next one, and so on. So once I've applied that, and then going in again with the flakes. These flakes are beautiful. I love them. I haven't used them for ages, and they've got like a bluey a bluey pink tone to them that you can see when you move it in different lights and stuff, and it's just stunning. So I'm just going to pop some on the free edge. I always pick up a really small amount for the free edge area so I can really focus the glitter where I want it and it's not really big and bulky. So I'm just making sure it's where I want it to be, and then once I've done that, I don't mess about with it too long, especially in my room right now because it's really warm. I've got the heater on for quite a while, so I don't have as much play time with the acrylic as I would if it was cold. And once I've done that, I can then pick up my little bits of flake and just place that on the nail. And then just to finish it off, I'm just going to get a really wet bead of the premixed glitter and I'm just going to brush that over the top so we've got a few specks on top of all those flakes as well. And then once I've done that, I'm just going to do the exact same thing on the other nails. I don't want this video to be really long with me doing the exact same thing, so I'm going to do that off camera. And then I'm going to cap them, file them and everything, and then we can come back and design them. So I'm going in with this plate. I've already done my right hand. That one is now finished, so I know what I'm doing on my left hand, which is good. So I'm going in with this one here, and I'm going to be using this image and also these two. So I'm using the Moira black stamping polish, and I'm just going to first of all start off with these two here. I know that I'm not focused, but bear with. I will be when it comes to the actual stamping. Just going to pick that up. I'm using my clear jelly stamper, which to be honest I don't use often enough, so that is why I'm using it here. So I'm just going to be popping these on here. Put the opposite way around to the one that I've already done. I totally forgot to base coat. I like to, that's one of the reasons I like to do it. I like to base coat before I go ahead and apply, what's it called, stamping onto acrylic, because even though I do wipe over with acetone, which I have actually totally forgot to do, I wipe over with acetone to remove as many scratches as I can, but sometimes I just like to do a base coat just so there's a nice, I am actually going to remove the thumb and do it again. I like it when there's a nice, what's it called, like, I don't know, nice and smooth surface for the, what's it called, to stick to. I've gone completely blank. I don't know what is wrong with my brain right now, but it's clearly not functioning very well. But yeah, I just like a nice smooth surface for my stamping to stick to, and I find that stamping sometimes, like depending on what brand you use, works better over a tacky layer, and obviously you don't have any tacky inhibition layers with acrylic. So I'm just going to apply a really thin coat of base coat over the three nails that I will be stamping, and at the same time I'm going to, well, not at the same time, but I'm also going to top coat the other two nails as well that I'm not going to be stamping. I'm getting it everywhere, but it's because my hand is hovering and I'm finding it really difficult to apply it like this, but I want to get it like at least a little bit in the video. But there you go. So I'm just base coating basically, just to make it nice and smooth. I do find that sometimes stamping over, like straight over acrylic, can make the stamping look a little grainy. I'm not sure that makes any sense, but I know what I mean. Not that that's very useful, but there you go. So I'm just going to diamond gloss, which is just a no wipe top coat. I'm just going to do that over my index finger and also my pinky, and then the other three I'm going to have stamping on, so they are base coated. I don't know why I always top coating like that, like I can't, it doesn't work, I can't do that. But anyway, just applying the top coat onto these two that are not going to have any stamping, just making the most of two very sparkly nails. But I do love a bit of black stamping, like it's very effective, especially on a light background. So I'm going to pop those in for 60 seconds. Then going in with my stamping, I'm just going to put the, what's it called, plate just out of sight of you, because if I have it like underneath the camera it reflects badly. I've just got that everywhere, but just ignore that for the moment. So I'm going to have this image on my middle and ring finger. It's very, very pretty, just a few snowflakes. So I'm going to do that again on my ring finger. And then I'm just going to do those two snowflakes on the black nail again. I will show you what this stamping plate is in just a second. Before I forget, I'm just going to remove any bits that I don't want, and then I can go in with the ones that I do. So I'm just going to pop them a bit diagonal to each other. Very, very cute. And then I'm just going to get a lipstick applicator in my acetone to tidy up around the nails. I mean, you can tidy up after you've top coated, like just tidy up and then wipe over the whole nail and it'll get rid of all the excess, but I just like to see what they look like as soon as possible, really. So here we are, tidying up now. I'm just going to go around the outside, get everywhere. Not too worried about literally getting everywhere, like obviously you can see I'm covered in it, but we'll do that in a second. And then I've just dropped my top coat lid by accident. I'm really destructive today, I don't know what's going on. And then all I need to do is obviously just top coat these stamped nails. So I'm just going to do that, make sure that I am really getting all over. If it was a client, I majority of the time will double coat them, so I'll either like use a tacky top coat and then a top coat over the top of that, or I'll use a base coat and then a top coat. But either way, like double layer will obviously just mean more strength. So then if the client does a job like typing where they're going to be wearing away at the top coat quite quickly, I've just got a hair there, which is why I'm looking at it at a weird angle. There we go. Yeah, so if they're going to be typing and wearing away at that top coat layer really quickly, it'll just mean that as soon as that top coat has wore away, it'll be easier then for the stamping to come off. But obviously it's just my nails, I really don't care that much, so we're just going in with the one top coat. And then the thumb. I had to get black in my set somewhere because you just, I don't know, I just love it. I don't know why I'm explaining that, everybody knows. But yeah, I'm just making sure the whole nail is covered, and then once I've done that I will pop it into the lamp for 60 seconds. So this is the finished set. I absolutely love how they turned out. I think they look really cute. I'm really glad that I got some black in there, but also managed to keep it nice and light as well. So that's good. But yeah, I absolutely love them, to be honest with you. Let me know what you think. I think these new premix glitters from Tia's Beauty are just absolutely beautiful. They really just are so sparkly. They're just, I mean, I don't need to say anything really, you can see them in front of you, but yeah. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll be back really soon with another one. Bye!